Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Key Time Sports. It's Key Time coming back to talk about the five marquee matchups of the NBA Monday night slate. And let me tell you, all of these games was a doozy last night, especially the Los Angeles Lakers and the Houston Rockets coming down the stretch. There's a lot that we need to unravel, and we are going to start with the first game on hand, the Sacramento Kings and the Indiana Pacers. So, Sacramento Kings and the Indiana Pacers, as far as where they are in the standings, the Sacramento Kings are at the 10th spot in the West. The Indiana Pacers are at the 4th spot in the East. So last night, this was a game of two teams that are not really young, that they have playoff experience on both sides, and pretty much just fighting to well, the Kings are pretty much fighting to stay afloat in the play-in tournament, while the Pacers are trying to pretty much stay in the 4th spot and have home court advantage. So when they play a team like the Milwaukee Bucks or the Detroit Pistons, who are 5-6 in the Eastern Conference right now. So Sacramento Kings starters last night: Domantas Sabonis had 25, DeMar DeRozan had 31, Keegan Murray had 12, Zach LaVine had 20, Keon Ellis had 9. Sacramento Kings starters have been one of the worst starting lineups as far as average scoring from a starting lineup in the NBA this season. So you can't expect much from a team that has underperformed from where we all placed the Sacramento Kings at the start of the season. Now, let's go to bench production. Bench production for the Sacramento Kings: you have Trey Lyles, 3 points; Jonas Valanciunas, 2 points; Markel Fultz, 2 points; Malik Monk, 5 points; and Jay Crowder, Isaiah Crawford, Doug McDermott, Isaiah Jones, Mason Jones did not DMP's coach's decision. They did not play. So now, when you look at the Sacramento Kings and what they have done throughout the season, they have a losing record on the road at 7-20. They are a average team at home. Now they are at the 10th spot in the West. They are at the 10th spot in the West, and I thought with the Dallas Mavericks being outside of the play-in tournament, I thought that they were left for dead. But you see where the Dallas Mavericks, they are up a half game on the Sacramento Kings. Now, at the start of the season, we had the Dallas Mavericks in the top 6. We had the Sacramento Kings being in the top 6. But they are near the bottom of the West in terms of play-in tournament seeding right here. So, Sacramento Kings, pretty much a team that has to basically, they have 7 more games left. So, the Sacramento Kings have 7 games left, and the Phoenix Suns are on their heels. If the Sacramento Kings lose 2 games and the Phoenix Suns win 3, then the Sacramento Kings are out of the play-in tournament. So it's pretty much nip and tuck throughout this next week, or so, because the turn of the month, it is now April 1st. There is only one more week left in the NBA season. So there are 7 games. Most teams have either 8 or 7 games left. And let me tell you now, this is truly, truly the nitty gritty time, because the teams that are vying for a playoff spot, the teams in the West, 2 through 10, the records are going to fluctuate over the next 5 to 6 days. Seedings in the Eastern Conference, 4 through 10, they are going to fluctuate over the next 5 to 6 days. So this is a time where it is put up or shut up. That is why the Sacramento Kings, we haven't seen nothing from them all throughout the season. Why should we expect something from them late? Why would we expect something from them when it comes to the last week of the season, when they have a bad defense? Their defense, well, as far as defending, they are one of the worst teams in the league. Offensively, they are one of the best. When you have that combination, you are pretty much setting yourself up for a downfall, and that's what the Sacramento Kings have done. Now, let's shift on over to the Indiana Pacers. You have the Indiana Pacers solely and currently in the fourth spot, but let me tell you, that team in Detroit, the Detroit Pistons, are 2 games back with 7 games left. So the Pacers, they can't lose a game. They cannot lose a game or two, because if they do, the Pacers will be in the fifth spot, and the Pistons will be in the fourth spot, and the Pistons will have home court advantage. So the last couple of things I'm going to say about the Indiana Pacers before I get into statistics throughout this game is home court advantage is crucial in the playoffs. I mean, I've always heard that, you know, in a 7 game series, a home court advantage can win a 7 game series. But that's not always the case. But if I'm the Pacers and I'm playing against a young squad like the Detroit Pistons, who coming into the playoffs will have nothing to lose because this is their first playoff berth in 10 years. If I'm the Pacers, if I was the Pacers head coach, I would be saying, guys, we cannot mess around with a team like the Detroit Pistons, a team that is young and upcoming and just trying to get their feet wet and get experience in the playoffs. So, Indiana Pacers, their starters last night, starting scores: Pascal Siakam had 11 points. Andrew Naismith had 24 points. Thomas Bryant had 7 points. Andrew Nabar had 5 points. Tyrese Halliburton had 18 points. Now, we all know that Tyrese Halliburton, or as I like to call him, T. Hallie, he is the leading force for the Indiana Pacers. And as far as the bench production now, bench production for the Indiana Pacers have always been average. But last night, and I'm not even gonna give them credit because we know the Sacramento Kings are a straight dumpster fire. But Obi Toppin had 19 points. Jarence Walker had 15 points. Tony Bradley had 4 points. TJ McConnell had 8. Ben Shepherd had 0 points. Everyone else on the bench, James James Johnson, Eric Freeman, Johnny Furphy, Ray J. Dennis, or Quentin Jackson, did not play because of coach's decision. Now, the statistics for this game: turnovers, and I do mean turnovers. It seems like everybody last night had turnover litis. That's a that's a new word that I just came up with for my audience. So anybody that turns the ball over more times than not and win a game, I'm gonna say that they have turnover litis. So the Pacers had turnover litis last night because total turnovers was they had 13. Sacramento Kings had 12. Now, both of these teams are still in the playoff conversation. But as you can see, as far as statistic wise, you see where the Pacers, They made more three-pointers and attempted more. They were 14 of 41, the Pacers were. The Sacramento Kings were 12 of 27. Free throws. Let me tell you, the Indiana Pacers did not miss a free throw last night. And you don't see that too many times in an NBA game where a team shoots perfect from the free throw line. So that right there, one of the reasons they won the game last night, because perfect free throw shooting, then rebounds, they got out rebounded. But like I said, when it comes to turnovers, Indiana Pacers, they should have lost this game, but they won this game by luck, because as far as offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds, Sacramento Kings out rebounded them by 5 in the defensive rebound department. But what have I been saying, America, world, wherever you may be listening? What have I said over the entirety of this season? There are 3 ways that an NBA team can lose an NBA game: poor shot selection, missed clock time management, turnovers, and bad free throw shooting. So that's 4. That's 4. I said 3, but I added another one, so that's 4. So steals, +1 for Sacramento. Blocks, +3 for the Indiana Pacers. Turnovers, like I said a few minutes ago, Pacers had 13, Kings had 12. Points off of turnovers, Kings had 20, Pacers had 12. Fast break points, +11 for the Pacers. Pacers had 19, Kings had 8. Fouls, 18 fouls for the Sacramento Kings, and the Pacers 14 fouls. Technical fouls, flagrant fouls, nobody had that. The largest lead for both teams was the Sacramento Kings. They had 16 points, and the Pacers had 10 points. So this game was basically a offensive shootout, no defense at all, and that is why you see this team, both of these teams, pretty much on the offensive side being able to put up with some of the best in the NBA. But when it comes to defense and you need a stop, these teams are not going to give you the stop that you need. So Sacramento Kings fans, Indiana Pacers fans, you're not going very far in the playoffs, and that is from the realization of what I am saying right now. That is the realization. The next game I am going to cover is the Los Angeles Clippers and the Orlando Magic. 2 teams that are in the play-in tournament conversation. Now, as we go over to the standings, we see that the Orlando Magic is 36 and 40. They are currently in the 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. The LA Clippers, they are 43 and 32. They are in the 8th spot. They are tied with the Minnesota Timberwolves for the 7th spot. So, critical game last night for both of these teams. You have the Clippers, who are 43 and 32, 18 and 21 away from home. And you have their top-notch guys. Kawhi Leonard, he had 21 points. Ivica Zubac had 18. James Harden had 20. Norman Powell had 21. Chris Dunn had 6. The bench production: Nicholas Batum, 0. Drew Eubanks, 0. Derrick Jones, 5. Boban Donovich, 5. Patty Mills, Kobe Brown, Cam Christie, Trenton Flowers all did not play because of coach's decision. Now, when it comes to the Clippers, we had them placed up as a team that could really, they were a playoff contender, because we both know that the Clippers, no way in hell are going to make it to the Western Conference Finals, because In the entirety of the Clippers' history, they have never made it to the conference finals. So why should we expect them to make the conference finals when you have, let me shift on over to the standings, when you have better teams like Oklahoma City, Houston Rockets, Denver Nuggets, Minnesota, Memphis Grizzlies, Golden State Warriors, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are record wise better than the LA Clippers. And you have the LA Clippers who are struggling with a team like the Orlando Magic, another team that's just trying to find their foot and have a young core around them. So the Clippers in this case, when it comes to them, I don't see anything. The Clippers are a team that they'll go to the playoffs, maybe win a first round playoff series, but in the second round they lose because they have never made it to the Western Conference Finals. And let me shift on over to the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic, the last 2 years, the average age for the Orlando Magic is 26. So this is pretty much still a young bunch. They haven't they this is only the third year that this bunch has been together. But like I say, if they can somehow make it to the playoffs this go around, it'll be a success story because the Orlando Magic, they really haven't been great all season, but yet they are still a nip and tuck team. They are like I want like I'm going to use a term that I don't normally use. They are some young bulls that like to make things ugly. That like to make games ugly. And as you can see last night, they held the Clippers under 100 points. They had a chance to win, but they were not good from the three-point line, which leads me to the Magic starters and as far as scoring. Pablo Banchero, 26 points. Fred Wagner, 21 points. Wendell Carter, 9 points. Corey Joseph, 10 points. Contavious Caldwell Pope, 11 points. The bench production was non existent last night. Jonathan Isaac, Tristan De Silvia, Goga Batiste, Gary Harris, all Gary Harris, Caleb Houston, all had all had 0 points. Excuse me. All four players that I just named, Jonathan Isaac, Tristan Dasalivia, Goga Batiste, Gary Harris, all had 0 points. Caleb Houston had 2 points. Anthony Black had 8 points. Jet Howard, coach's decision, did not play. So as far as the statistics from this game concerned, the Clippers had a bad shooting night from the well, both teams had a bad shooting night from three. Clippers were 8 of 31 from the three-point line. The Magic were 7 of 26 from the three-point line. Free throws, Magic, they had a better free throw night from the free throw line, excuse me. And rebounds. See, this is where the Clippers pretty much won this game. 15 total rebounds plus 15 for the Clippers. Offensive rebounds plus 5 for the Clippers, 11-6. Defensive rebounds plus 10 for the Clippers, 36-26. Assists tied at 18. Steals plus 2, 12-10. Blocks, 5 blocks for the Clippers, 4 blocks for the Magic. Total turnovers, Clippers 16, Magic 15. This was a turnover fest, but like I said, 3-point shooting is what lost this game. And points in the paint, Clippers plus 8 points in the paint, 50-42. Fouls, 19-17 for the Clippers. They had more fouls, and the largest lead for the Clippers in this game was 10, For the Orlando Magic, it was 6. So, Clippers and Magic, they still have a chance at making the playoffs. Will they do that? We will see. And it remains to be seen because the next 5 or 6 days is going to determine a lot. And we are at the end, already at the end of the NBA season. So the next game I am going to cover is the Boston Celtics and Memphis Grizzlies. Let me start off with the Memphis Grizzlies. Does anybody can anybody make sense of what happened over the weekend when it comes to firing their head coach with just 9 games left in the regular season? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And then now they have this they have this assistant coach. They haven't named him head coach, but they promoted the I'm not even gonna say that they promoted the assistant coach, but they let the assistant coach take over head coaching duties, but they didn't give him a contract. So this is pretty much he has a misleading position when it comes to terminology of that position when it comes to the Grizzlies coach that they have now. But I'm not going to get into that. If you haven't seen my reaction video to that, please feel free to look at it in my YouTube shorts. Now, the Boston Celtics, second team, they are second in the East right now. They've been second in the East all season. I believe that if the Cavaliers some way, somehow, and I do mean somehow lose 3 or 4 games and the Celtics win out, then the Celtics will have the best record in the East. But we all know who has the best record. We all know who has the best record in the NBA, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now back to the game. Boston Celtics are the second team in the East. The Memphis Grizzlies are at the 5th spot in the West. And if the playoffs start today, they would be facing the Los Angeles Lakers. And we all know that a couple years ago they faced the Los Angeles Lakers in the first round, and the Lakers beat them in 6 games. But like I said, we know that the Memphis Grizzlies, we know that they are not the same team that they were 2 years ago. When it comes to the Boston Celtics, as far as starters, they have a balanced roster. I mean, when you just look at these numbers, Xavier Tillman, with the exception of Xavier Tillman, he had 2 points. But then you have Jason Tatum, 25 points. Kristaps Porzingis, 19 points. Drew Holiday, 18 points. Derek White, 14 points. That is a fine-tuned, well-oiled scoring machine that the Boston Celtics have. Everybody is balanced. All five of their starters have had completely balanced statistics all throughout the season. And then you have their bench production. You have one guy come off the bench and can put up 20 to 25 points. Like you see with this, Baylor Sherman, 0 points. Sam Hauser, he had 8 points. Al Horford, or as they call him, his nickname Big Al, he had 26 points. Peyton Pritchard had 5 points. Tony Craig did not play due to coach's decision. Luke Cormick, he had an illness. Nemesa Quetta did not play, coach's decision. Jaylen Brown did not play, right knee injury. Jordan Walsh did not play, coach's decision. So, the Boston Celtics, let me tell you, I don't know how many times I have said this to you all, America, world, wherever you may be watching, but I don't know how many times that I've said this to my audience. The Boston Celtics are going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals along with the Cleveland Cavaliers. That is all that is all we have to accept, and that is all that we have to look forward to because nobody else. And let me tell you, that is the story that we are all looking for. The Celtics and the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. And we are going to get that because there's no two other teams in the East that can go toe to toe with the Celtics or the Cavaliers for a 7-game series. I just don't see it. And if there is a team that can go toe to toe with the Celtics and the Cavaliers, my audience, please keep me informed because the way it's looking now, I just don't see a team. But like I always tell you, my audience, hey, you can contact me in the chat. You can contact me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can contact me anywhere and tell me what other team you think that has a better shot than the Celtics and the Cavaliers. Because right now, it's the Cavaliers and the Celtics are on a collision course, and I don't see nothing stopping those two teams. Now, let me shift on over to the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies that I've said this over the past couple of years since I've started this show, and I've said it on my Instagram show, Key City Sports. The Memphis Grizzlies are a team that is just full of hype. I did this I did this back in February when it comes to the Memphis Grizzlies remaining season outlook. And I stated that the Memphis Grizzlies haven't got to, the Western Conference Finals in 12 years. So now, the Memphis Grizzlies, since 2013, they went 7 years without making the playoffs. And then last year they didn't make the playoffs, but the year before that they made the playoffs with Ja Morant and everybody else at the helm. Now, from what I've heard as far as their head coach, Taylor Jenkins, from what I'm hearing, Grizzlies executives, they said that they thought that Taylor Jenkins was taking the team backwards. Now, I always say that I don't advocate for somebody losing their job, and I don't advocate for somebody being demoted while they are doing their job. But in this case, when an executive, a general manager, an owner, when they see a head coach that is taking the team backwards, the head coach may not want to go. The general manager may not want to fire the head coach. The owner may not want to fire the head coach. But head coaches, they force the owner's hand when they are not producing like they need to do on the floor. Like I said, these owners in the NBA and NFL, they are tired of giving coaches 4 and 5 years to build a team. Nowadays, when it comes to these head coaches, they are only giving you 2 to 3 years to build the team. And basically, not in all cases, but if the previous head coach built that team up, they get a new coach, and within 3 years, the team it needs to do something. That's where I understand that. But if you have a bad team and you don't have no dynamic resources, and you know that this is going to be a organizational rebuild for the next 4 to 5 years, then don't fire the head coach after 2 or 3 bad years because you knew that you was going to be in this predicament. Now, The Memphis Grizzlies, what they have right now, they have dynamic players, but they are not meeting expectations. So now, when you look at the Memphis Grizzlies from a scoring perspective, you see Jaren Jackson Jr. 20 points, Jalen Wells 10 points, Zach Edey 4 points, Ja Morant 26 points, Desmond Bain 12 points. The bench production was pretty much stagnant. Marvin Bagley, 2 points. Santi Almada, 21 points. Lamir Stevens, 0 points. Jay Huff, 0 points. John Carner, 0 points. Luke Kennard, 1 point. Vince Williams Jr., 2 points. Scottie Pippen Jr., 5 points. Cam Spencer, 0 points. G.G. Jackson did not play because of coach's decision. Now, as far as the statistics concerned is Boston had a better shooting night from the three-point line. Wow. 21 of 62. The Boston Celtics, they attempt the most threes and make the most threes. So the Grizzlies, they were 11 of 44, from the three-point line. Free throws, Celtics had a better shooting night from the free throw line. 18 of 19. Grizzlies, they were 10 of 16 from the free throw stripe. Rebounds, Boston out rebounded the Grizzlies by 9. Offensive rebounds +7 for the Boston Celtics. Defensive rebounds +2 for the Boston Celtics. Assists +9 for the Boston Celtics. Steals +5 for the Memphis Grizzlies. Blocks tied at 3. Turnovers, Celtics 13 turnovers. You had turnover-litis. That's what you did. You had turnover-litis, and the Memphis Grizzlies had turnover-litis too. They just did. They had turnover-litis. Points off of turnovers, tied. Celtics had 18 points off of turnovers. Grizzlies had 18 points off of turnovers. Fast break points, +11 for the Memphis Grizzlies. Points in the paint, +24 for the Memphis Grizzlies. Fouls, Grizzlies had more fouls than the Boston Celtics. Technical fouls, 2 for the Celtics, 1 for the Memphis Grizzlies. The largest lead of this game was 15 points for the Celtics, and for the Memphis Grizzlies, 11 points. The next game I am going to cover is the Chicago Bulls and Oklahoma City Thunder. This game, I'm just going to do this game was basically a blowout. It was. And I'm just going to do a rough estimate of this game because we all know that the Chicago Bulls, they are trying to fight for a play-in tournament spot. They are at the 10th spot in the East right now. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, we all know that they are tops in the West right now. So I'm going to go back to this game, and I'm just going to give a rough estimate, and I'm going to go fast, so I want everybody to stay with me. So I'm just gonna go down the list. I'm talking about the Chicago Bulls starters and bench production right now. Dylan Terry, 4 points. Mattis Buzelis, 14 points. Nikola Vucevic, 11 points. Kobe White, 7 points. Josh Giddey, 15 points. Bench production, Bulls bench production. Zach Collins, 2 points. Jalen Smith, 10 points. Patrick Williams, 16 points. Julian Phillips, 5 points. Taylor Horton Tucker, 16 points. Javian Carter, 17 points. Lonzo Ball did not play because of a right wrist sprain. The Chicago Bulls are a team that is pretty much a below average team, and that's all I see when it comes to the Chicago Bulls. They have been a complete dumpster fire. They are an average team on the road at 19-19. They are not going to make the playoffs because one thing they have to do, since they are currently at the 10th spot right now, they will have to win 2 games in the play-in tournament just to make it to the playoffs, which starts on, I believe, the third Saturday of this month. I don't know what day that is, but when I get the information, I'm going to inform you all about that. So when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, they are not a team that is very high on my radar. They are one of the bottom of the barrel teams in the NBA now. They are an average bottom of the barrel team, but they are still at the bottom of the barrel. So let's just scratch them because they are not going to make it far in the playoffs. I don't even think that they are going to make it out of the play-in tournament. Now, let me shift over to the Oklahoma City Thunder. All you experts out there saying the best team in the NBA. Yeah, as far as regular season statistics, they are the best team in the NBA. Last year, regular season, best team in the NBA got knocked out in the third and the second round of the playoffs. This season, currently 63-12, best team in the NBA regular season wise. Let's see what they can do in the playoffs. Their starters and their bench production. I'm gonna go pretty fast here, so y'all, I need y'all to stay with me. I'm giving y'all some. I'm giving y'all some good tips today. Chet Holmgren, 5 points. Jalen Williams, 23 points. Isaiah Hartenstein, 14 points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 27 points. Luguentz Dort, 11 points. Thunder bench production, Jalen Williams, 0 points. Dylan Jones, 5 points. Kendrick Williams, 10 points. Brandon Carson, 2 points. Alex Caruso, 7 points. Isaiah Joe, 31 points. Kyson Wallace, 10 points. The Oklahoma City Thunder, we know that they don't have any discrepancies or deficiencies in the regular season, but what can they do in the playoffs? And I'm going to show y'all something. If the playoffs started today, the Oklahoma City Thunder would be playing the winner of the play-in tournament. Either they would be playing the winner of, let's see, they would be playing the winner of the LA Clippers and the Sacramento Kings, because that's where the play-in tournament is going to go. The 17 plays the 9, the 8 team plays the 10th. So Oklahoma City Thunder, whoever they play in the first round, whether it's the Clippers or the Sacramento Kings, Oklahoma City is going to beat them without any trouble in this game. So now let me go on back over to the statistics for this game. It was pretty much a beatdown from start to finish. When you see these statistics up and down the line, total turnovers, the Chicago Bulls had 20 turnovers. They had a severe case of turnover-litis. And also the Thunder, they had a mild case of turnover-litis because they had 14 turnovers, last night. Like I always say, teams that have turnover-litis going into the playoffs usually lose in the playoffs because of that severe case of turnover-litis. Now, points as far as free 3 points. From the 3 point line, Thunder had a better shooting night. Rebounds, Thunder out rebounded the Bulls by 1. Offensive rebounds, Bulls out rebounded the Thunder +1. Defensive rebounds, Thunder out rebounded the Bulls +2, 35. Assists, +10 for the Thunder. Steals +4 for the Thunder. Blocks +1 for the Bulls. Total turnovers, I said that a few seconds ago. Bulls had 20 turnovers. Thunder had 14. Points off of turnovers. Bulls had 34 points off of turnovers. Thunder had 15 points off of turnovers. Fast break points, +1 for the Thunder. Points in the paint, it was a tie. 54 points each in the paint. Fouls, tied. 16 fouls for each team. The largest lead in the game was 2 points for the Bulls. And let me tell you, the largest lead in the game for the Thunder was 43 points. If I was the owner of the Bulls, I would just get on, well, you lost by 28 and it could have been worse. So what I would do is, if I was the owner of the Chicago Bulls, take this loss on the chin and see if you can find a way to make it. No, not make it, because you are in the play-in tournament, but be competitive in the play-in tournament. Because let me tell you, when you have the matriarch NBA teams not in the playoffs, when you don't have Boston, LA, Chicago, Golden State, when you don't have those teams in the playoffs, the NBA playoffs is not watchable. That's why I say, when the Lakers and the Celtics are both on the same trajectory and making the playoffs at the exact same time, that's when the NBA is watchable. For the Bulls case, if they had a good team and they were like maybe one of the top 4, maybe 5 teams in the East, they would be worth watching, but they are not. The last game I am going to cover, and this is one game that I watched last night because I just love it when my Lakers win. Audience, don't y'all just love it? How many Lakers fans are in the audience right now? Don't y'all just love it when the purple and gold win? I'm gonna get me some purple and gold shoes so I can be matching with my Lakers jersey and my Lakers sweatsuit. All right, all right. I'm happy right now. So first off, the Houston Rockets are second in the West right now. The Los Angeles Lakers, after last night's win, are fourth in the West. They sitting pretty. They are just three and a half games back of the Houston Rockets for that second spot. So the Houston Rockets lose a couple games, and the Los Angeles Lakers go on a winning streak, we might be in the top 2 now. We might be in the top 2. But what I'm going to say is that the Houston Rockets starters and bench production last night, they did very well. And the Lakers defense did very well last night. Amen Thompson had 20 points. Dylan Brooks had 16 points. Alfred Sagan had 14 points. Fred VanVleet had 7 points. Jalen Green had 9 points. Rockets bench production, Jabari Smith Jr. had 15 points. Terry Eason had 13 points. Steven Adams had 4 points. Jeff Green, Cam Whitmore, Deshaun Tate, Jock Landale, Aaron Holiday, and Reed Shepard all did not play because of coach's decision. Now let me get to my take for the Houston Rockets right now. The Houston Rockets are one of the youngest teams in the NBA. I've been saying that all season. This is an experimental phase for them so that they can get playoff experience. Now, if the playoffs started today, Houston, they would be playing the winner of Minnesota and Dallas, that play-in tournament game. That's who they would be playing. So I think that Minnesota, they would be better competition for the Houston Rockets, because Minnesota Timberwolves and the Houston Rockets, they have the same type of trajectory. I mean, they have some dogs. Both teams have some dogs on both sides of the court, for the defense and for the offense. And I would love to see a competitive first round series between the Houston Rockets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I would love to see that. Now, let me get to my dearly beloved Los Angeles Lakers. I should have been rocking purple and gold this morning, audience. I really should have, because, man, I mean, the Lakers defense. let me tell you all, the previous 6 games, the Lakers defense, they had trouble. They were allowing 120 points a game. Last night, to keep the Rockets under 100 points, I got to I got to commend JJ Redick. I just do. I got to commend JJ Redick. Now, the starters for the Lakers: Rui Hachimura, 7 points; LeBron James, 16 points; Jackson Hayes, 3 points; Luka Doncic, 20 points; Austin Reeves, 20 points. Now, let me tell you, everybody is saying that, LeBron James, he is not putting up the same amount of points that he needs to. He doesn't, because they have a deeper team now. It's not like those teams from 2 and 3 years ago where LeBron had to put up 30 to 35 points each night for them to even have a chance. But let me tell you, in the critical moments last night, LeBron showed up. I mean, I looked at the final sequence under a minute left actually, and the Lakers were up by, let's say, 4 points. It was 102-98 or maybe 96-100. Either way, either sequence that happened, the Rockets center, the Rockets were inbounding the ball. They passed it to the Rockets center, and out of nowhere, now we know LeBron, he has them chase down blocks, but he blocked that thing on the spot, blocked it back in the third row, and everybody's saying that the Lakers don't have rim protection. Let me tell you, yes, they do, because all of the players, the Lakers players show a lot of grit now, and they were not showing a lot of grit with Frank Vogel at the helm and Darvin Ham. They didn't show a lot of grit with Darvin Ham. Let me tell you, there was only 2 plays Darvin Ham, he didn't even draw up any plays from what I'm hearing from previous Laker players that were there when Darvin Ham was there. He had 2 default plays. And let me tell you, the default plays were LeBron down the middle and Anthony Davis down the middle. If nobody else could get a shot, just throw it to LeBron and Anthony Davis. And that is not always going to win you games night in and night out. Your top 2 players on the team, they are going to have the most attention when it comes to their opposition, because they know when it comes to those top 2 players, they know they are the driving force when it comes to a team. Now, my final take for the Lakers, and let me tell you, oh my goodness, we have almost did an hour of this show. This has only been 5 games that I've covered, and we are almost about to do an hour. This was only supposed to be 30 minutes, but this is great. More time, more content. I could get more viewers, and I can expand my audience. So, last few things I'm going to say is the Lakers bench. Dorian Finney-Smith, 20 points. Jared Vanderbilt, 2 points. Gabe Vincent, 20 points. Jordan Goodwin, 4 points. Dalton Knecht, 0 points. Markieff Morris, DNP. Alex Len, DNP. Trey Jameson, DNP. Shake Milton, DNP. Bronny James, DNP. All because of coaches' decisions. Here are their statistics. They were, from the 3-point line, Lakers were 16 of 46. Houston Rockets were 10 of 32. Free throw percentage, 90% from the free throw stripe for the Lakers, 82% from the free throw stripe, the Houston Rockets. Now, as far as offensive rebounds, Houston, they out rebounded the Lakers by 6. Offensive rebounds, they were tied. Defensive rebounds, +6 for Houston. Assists, 4 times, 26, 26-22. Steals, +4 for the Lakers. Blocks, +1 for the Lakers. Turnovers, both teams had turnover lightest last night. The Rockets had 15, the Lakers had 11. Points off of turnovers. Rockets had 10, Lakers had 11. Fast break points, +3. Rockets had 13, Lakers had 10. Points in the paint, +14 for the Rockets. 52 Rockets points in the paint, 36 points in the paint for the LA Lakers. Fouls, Rockets fouled more times than not. 20 points, 15 points. The largest lead for the Rockets and the Lakers were 8 points. The largest lead for the Rockets was 8 points, and the largest lead for the Lakers were 7 points. Now, my final take for this is the Lakers, they have a great chance at being a good team. And let me tell you, the Lakers I'm not even gonna say that. The Lakers, they have a better bench than the Houston Rockets and the Denver Nuggets. They do. So the de facto second team, and I usually don't say this, but the de facto second team in the West is the Los Angeles Lakers. That's what I see. The Houston Rockets need more experience. They are not there yet, but that doesn't mean that this playoff experience won't put them in a better realm of possibility come future years. So Houston Rockets are a force to be reckoned with. The Lakers, they are 2 games up of the Memphis Grizzlies, and we are in the last remaining days of the 2024-25 NBA season. And with that, those are my reactions to the Monday night slate of NBA games. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. And before I sign off, here is the current standings for both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference in the NBA. So we are doing an expansion right on here on YouTube and Instagram. I love how everybody has watched the show every day, and I love we are going to be doing more of the same. We have the Final Four coming up, which is later on this week. I'm going to be covering that, and I will be covering the NFL draft later on this month. And one last thing, everybody, please like, follow, share Key City Sports on YouTube. Like, follow Key City Sports on Instagram, and like, follow, and share Key Time Sports on YouTube. And remember, everybody, one last thing, the key is always on time.